I've really been in touch with my limitations around communication. And my conditioning is largely a result of a family of, let's say, positive thinkers who wanted things to be presented in the best way possible, whether discussing other people or yourself or your emotions. And so I've just learned to share what might be above the line on a positive level. And then whatever's a little more negative or challenged, people don't want to hear that. And so I keep that to myself. And I'm seeing the detriment of that emotionally, in terms of an intimate relationship, in terms of the depth of intimacy in all of my relationships, because it tends to be just a little more positive than realistic. And so what I'm needing is help with the, let's say, wisdom and courage to start going into the darker places and sharing that both about myself and others, so that it would create healing.
So I think the first really critical association that needs to be made is that what you're calling dark or below the line really needs to be experienced and seen as pregnancy. And that what that means is that when you're feeling afraid, you're pregnant with courage. When you're feeling angry, you're pregnant with peace. And that all the feelings that are below the line have needs associated with them that are positive. Every negative feeling has underneath it some kind of a wish or desire or longing or need for positivity. And so just understanding that, you don't feel negative about negative feelings. You're actually able to move into a place of, oh, I want to uncover my emptiness so I could possibly find the sources of fullness. And then the next thing, after you really start to reorient your own view of negativity or below the line, you then start to inquire, well, how could I possibly communicate this in a way that has a chance of not just being experienced as a striking out or as just a bottomless pit? And so it requires, in the inquiry, how do I communicate anger in a way that's going to be having a chance of being positive? How do I communicate fear that's not going to just spiral me into more fear? How am I going to communicate emptiness that's not going to just be like quicksand? And the answer is, you let the person know, and you know yourself, that the reason why you're communicating is because you want to find the opposite. I'm sharing my emptiness because, number one, I want to perhaps care for it the way it is as well. And then that gives the maximum chance of finding the opposite. Now, one of the key things is that we can't immediately hope for the anger to go to peace, or emptiness to go to fullness, or fear to go to courage. That we need to develop a caring relationship and find another part of ourselves, or ask the other person to become that other part of ourselves, that can show a loving interest. And I'll say that again, show a loving interest and a curiosity that can ask, well, what is that fear really like? What is that emptiness really like? What is that anger really like? And so we don't feel ashamed or embarrassed or rejecting of our own negative feelings. And as we start to develop that caring for where we are, it starts to break up a little bit. It's not quite so absolute. It doesn't feel like it's a permanent rock in our chest or in our guts. So the main things are, first, we need to change our perspective to see it as pregnancy. Second, we need to inquire as to how we can possibly communicate where we are and ask for some form of caring and really deepen the curiosity of what's that state really like? And then when we receive that kind of love or that kind of interest or that kind of caring, what we start to notice is, at the very least, we feel a little softer while we're in those states. Mm-hmm. And then sometimes it just morphs all the way over, as we've experienced many times, into the exact opposite of what we're feeling. So negativity is only negativity if it stays unconscious and if there's no caring and love and curiosity to go with it. So it's just such a wonderful path towards love, and it's a doorway that most relationships really don't understand, that the paradox in sharing difficult feelings leads to love and what we most want in our lives.